All right, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome from what is not a sunny Orlando today. It's not a sunny Orlando. It's very rare that I start these sessions with a doom and gloom on the weather report from Orlando. But for everybody else around the world, I now know what winter feels like. I think winter. This is the day we do winter. Would you agree, Beth? I think today's the day we're going to do winter. It's finally arrived in Orlando. It is a cold 59 degrees here in Orlando today, and the entire state of Florida is in meltdown because of that. So it's sunny in Paul's world, as always, anyway. It might be cold and a little damp outside, but we are bright and full of energy here today for you. Fantastic to see everybody. We were just talking there. We got our first, we had 35 people already had logged in before 10 to 11, which is fantastic, and more people coming into the webinar. We'll get to just under 500, maybe touch 500 before we get started. More and more people are just coming in. The text message reminders are going out. The emails are going out to people all across the world. The team are frantically dealing with tech issues from people trying to log into this session today. It is a big one. It's my favorite of the year. It is, if I'm allowed to have an opinion on it, it's, I think, the most important part of your year is marketing planning. It's very difficult to grow a business without a marketing plan. And sadly, not many people have one or know how to do one. So we're going to do that with you today. But it's lovely to see you, and thank you for coming on. Well done to you for giving up your Saturday morning to spend it with some British guy that you may or may not know. Thanks for taking a chance on me. I do appreciate it. We all need people to take a chance on us. Is that not true collectively? Would you agree? We all just need somebody to have a little faith in us and a little chance given to us. So I appreciate you giving me a chance, particularly if you are a Paul Virgin. Any Paul Virgins in today? Type into the chat if you are a Paul Virgin, and let me know if this is your first experience of the magic that is a Paul Gough webinar. Type into the chat. Let me know. We are already in Tampa. Jesse Polanco, wonderful to see you. Type into the chat. Let me know. Come on, let's get a little interaction from everybody. Type into the chat. Let me know where you are coming in from. It really does help me if I get some audience participation in the chat. So type into the chat. Let me know where you are. It's always great to have people to talk to throughout this next couple of hours that we're going to be together. So we've got Dawn Wright. Dawn is an official. Can I call you a virgin? Dawn, are you a Paul Virgin? Am I okay with that? Are we comfortable enough from this far to go? Are we comfortable enough? Dawn, I love it. Well done. I love it. We've got Philly, Jamie. I think I know who you are. Are you Natty's friend, Jamie, from Philly? First time. We've got virgins everywhere, Beth. There's more virgins on this call today than we've ever had, ever. Tamara is also a virgin. She is a Paul Virgin, Parksville. The Canadians are in the house. Are you allowed to do stuff like this in Canada? I thought life was on hold in Canada. I thought you guys were completely, like, I didn't even realize you guys were allowed to like even do stuff in Canada. Last I heard, you weren't even allowed to put the trash out. It was that bad in Canada. Mindy in cold London. Oh, I know how that feels. I bet it's cold back there right now. Another virgin, Derek. We've got a male virgin in the house, Derek from North Carolina. Love North Carolina. Last spring break, I went up to, where did I go? Lake Norman. I went up to Lake Norman, about 45 minutes, I think, north of Charlotte. Lake Norman. We had a fantastic time up there. Hired a lake house and took the kids out on a boat, which was wonderful. In Massachusetts, and it's my first. We've got another virgin. Wow, this marketing must be working very, very well. We're bringing in a lot of virgins to this show, this call today. Must be cold up there in Massachusetts, January. Too true. Where else? Type into the chat. What else have we got? What else have we got going on? We've got people in from, let me have a look at my other box here so I can see where the other people are typing. First Paul webinar here in Missouri. Nicole, another virgin. I love this. I should have put a suit on today. I should have put a suit, a shirt, and a tie on. I should have put some makeup on, brushed my teeth. I should have made a first impression. I apologize to all of the first timers today. I should have made a better impression for you. I will note to self that we're getting more first timers coming on these webinars. I'll clean myself up tomorrow. I'll dust that suit out of the closet. Haven't worn it since the last time I was at court, but that's another story for another day. Newcastle, Pennsylvania, Kiara, let's not talk cricket. I do not want to talk cricket at all. None, ever again. The Aussies stuffed the Brits, the English. But let's not go there. What else is going on? Type into the chat. We're going to get into marketing. Who loves marketing? Come on, be honest. Who on here has a secret love affair with marketing? Or, let's be real, we should have a doll, right? We got any dolls in this place? I think what would really sum up the collective view of marketing for physical therapists around the world would be a marketing doll. Can you get me a marketing doll? Can we order one, right? A marketing doll and a pair of scissors, and we'll pretend that's a knife, and we have a doll, and we can like stick this knife into the marketing doll, right? Because I think collectively, not many people are in love with marketing. When it comes to building a business, PTs just want to get on and treat patients. Can we all agree, right? And I think that's fantastic, and I think that's the way it should be. But sadly, we do have to do a little bit of this thing called marketing. So that's what we're going to talk through today. If you're a fantastic clinician, who on here would admit to being a good clinician, a very good, clinically skilled, fantastic at the thing that you do when it comes to getting the patients? The problem is you just don't get enough. If you're already a great clinician, I think you're in the right place. All we've got to do now is bootstrap one more skill called marketing, and I think you'll have liftoff. So we're going to get into it. Marketing Plan 2022, how to overcome Omicron hesitant patients. We're going to talk all about that today. Get referrals without doctors and give yourself a 10 grand a month pay rise in 2022. Who hasn't had a pay rise for a while? I bet for some of you business owners, it's been years since you've given yourself a pay rise. And we're going to talk about how you can do that today. So who's it for? We've got cash pay owners in. We get about 700 or 800 people register for every webinar that we do. And we're able to monitor what type of business owner that we are bringing into our sessions. And we've got cash pay owners on today. We've got traditional insurance businesses looking to move away from your crap tip Uniteds and Medicares and all of these shit tip payers who don't necessarily respect how good you are at what you do, and seem to think that while all of your costs are rising on your profit and loss statement, it's okay for them to drop the reimbursements. We've got hybrid clinic owners on as well, and we're looking to give help to people that are struggling with referrals from doctors. It's becoming more and more apparent that the cash businesses really struggling to get referrals from doctors, and even the traditional insurance businesses struggling to get referrals from doctors these days. They just can't get close to them to get them. More and more new startups we saw in 2021. I've been doing this now for nearly 7 years. This is year 7 for me as a teacher of marketing. I've never seen the number of new startups like I did in 2021. And we just think that is absolutely fantastic. So who this is for? You are frustrated with the slow growth of your business and finally ready to do something about it. Type into the chat, why are you here? Give me an idea why you're here. What is going on? What's the common goal? What's the common frustration that unites us all? I would love to hear it in your words. Type into the chat. Let me know what your biggest frustration is right now. I don't want the personal frustrations. Please don't type husband or wife or kids, anything like that, right? I know you're tempted to put kids or wife or mother or father or some version of that, right? But what's your biggest frustration right now? Type it into the chat and let me know what the biggest. We have been known to solve a few marriages along our way. We have been known to give out a little bit of relationship guidance and advice on these webinars. More than happy to do that for you if that's where you feel like we need to go. Beth wants a predictable, steady stream of clients into her practice. No shows and hyper. All right, no shows and hypochondriacs. Is that a subtle dig at the people who are just like panicking right now and like living their life as though like the world's ending? If so, we're kindred spirits. I get it. I get it. Getting a consistently filled schedule, says Tara. We aren't able to reach the patients we know could benefit from our services. So, what do we got here? I mean, actually, this is my 5th month in business, and for now, I want to get a full schedule. 25 visits a week and repeating it every week so I can expand and hire somebody in the next few months. Fantastic. Decrease ROI when marketing to physicians documentation. Good. All right. We work with hundreds of business owners, practice owners all around the world. And this is what I'm about to show you now. This is the one thing that unites us all. That when all is said and done, I think the way that most people would describe their marketing when it comes to trying to get patients for their practice is, drum roll, please. You ready? You ready? Drum roll. Inconsistent. Can anybody agree? Would anybody disagree that the term inconsistent is appropriate when it comes to marketing? That's where the majority of people are stuck right now in their marketing, in an attempt to find patients for their practice. Inconsistent is the term. So here's what we're going to learn during the presentation: how to create consistency in your marketing in 2022. A marketing plan that will add 10 grand a month, bottom line, by the way. How to discover your clinic's true profit potential. The most important part of the webinar, that'll come towards the end, the profit potential. And I'll show you the formula that I use for my business and all of the clients that I consult with. We've got to know what your profit potential is. And I think when you see it, you'll be pleasantly surprised what is possible for you in 2022. We'll go through the 3 parts of the marketing system, show you some of the successful campaigns from 2021 and what we've already seen work in 2022, and 7 different referral sources that don't include doctors. That's what we're going to get into. Google and Facebook updates, working better than ever. And before we get into it, let's discuss the right elephant in the room. Well, before we do this, actually, I haven't asked this question. How did you find me? Type into the chat. Just let me know, how did you find me? What was your origin story with me? Was it the books? Was it the podcast? Was it some Facebook advertising? Have you seen my YouTube videos, social media? Let me know. What was your origin story? How many of you read the books? Facebook, says Derek. Social media. Good. Let me see how many different places you found us. I heard about you from a colleague and then came across you on Facebook. Love it. To my social media is working well, Beth. Searching for marketing tips. I bought the book. Love it. Did you read the book? Did you read it? Kira, did you read it out of curiosity? It's one thing to buy the book. It's another thing to read it. What else? Not done yet. I bought the course. I read your book first and then came to know from Justine Calderwood. She's amazing. We love Justine. Good. Jesse, you said it. You said it. I found you. I love that. That makes my heart warm to know that I found you. Our laser targeted marketing found Jesse. Anybody else want to type in? You're a little bit quiet today, you guys out there. Let's have some fun. Come on. Interact with me. You've got me. Doesn't take much to just type into the chat how you found me. Book. Any podcast listeners? Can anybody hear me? Anybody? Are you there? This is live, you know, we're real. This is like, dang, what time is it? It's 11:15. Like, we are live, and I would appreciate some interaction into the chat. Tell me how you found me. Come on. Do your fingers not work this morning, you guys? Facebook, joined your group and got your books. Tara, great. What else? Are you listening, guys? Are you feeling that conscious, that self-conscious that we can't even type into a chat and have a little bit of a conversation? Honestly, don't even know, says Beth. I like that one as well. Probably omnipresence. I like that one. I actually like those answers where people don't really know how they found us. It's probably because of a combination of everything, which is a story in and of itself about marketing, that it doesn't always matter how somebody finds you, that they do does. Jamie, you followed me on Instagram and I have been following for a while, working for somebody else. Then a good friend recommended me and I went independent. I'm not sure how my clinic owner found you, but she recommended this to me. Great. All right. So here's what we're going to do. There's this thing going on apparently, right? Now I live in Florida, so I'm a bit oblivious to most of the stuff that goes on around the world, right? And if you've ever been to Florida, you'll realize that it's a pretty independent state, right? Anything goes in Florida. They're not going to stop you doing anything. You can pretty much do what you want, wear what you want, say what you want. And I absolutely love that, right? I really am in the best place on earth. I genuinely feel that for me and for my personality. And in Florida, this thing called COVID was over after about 4 weeks, right? According to our legislators and governors. And we've just been getting on with life, and like kids haven't missed school, and we've been in bars and Disney and all of this type of stuff for quite some time now, right? But apparently there's this still crazy thing going on in all these different states, and these governors want to lock everybody up for the rest of their life. And some of these patients are still watching CNN every night and reading every article that they can, subscribing to the death rates and the infection rates and all of these other things. And they wonder why they're miserable and their life's their own, and they have become hypochondriacs, and they're literally living in fear. I mean, they were anyway, but they are now perpetually living in fear. Not that I'm blaming the politicians or the media, but those rat bags, if I could send those fuckers to hell and let them burn, I would. Both of them, right? They are rotten to the core. Politicians and the influence that this media has on society, and the fear that those two collectively put upon people, who I firmly believe both of them think that the world isn't capable of thinking for itself or figuring things out for themselves. And they both believe that they have a higher than mighty place in this world. Somehow those fuckers have absolutely ruined life over the last few years for the majority, right? If you let them, that is. And sadly, the majority have, right? So there is this thing still going on. And they're going to push it and push it and push it and scare the crap out of everybody for as long as they possibly can, because they've all now got some relevance, haven't they? Just, right? Did you even know the governor of your state before COVID, right? That fucker ain't giving that up for a long time. They've got real significance now in the form of power, right? And they're going to hold on to that for as long as they can, unless you kick them out the next fucking midterm or elections or whatever, right? As Boris is probably going to find out in England. And the media, well, the only option you've got with them, just tune out, delete. Like how anybody watches any of this stuff, reads any of this stuff, subscribes to any of this stuff, has alerts on their phone. It baffles me when I sit with people in a restaurant and I see their phone light up every 3 seconds. News alerts. Why do you want alerts? Why? What possible? You listen to the radio, and the hook for subscribing to that radio channel for that day so that they can keep you up to date with the latest COVID news. Why? What do I possibly want to know? There's nothing that I need to know at this point that I didn't need to know after 4 weeks. It is absolutely ridiculous. Tamara, if you don't want to listen, please feel free to jump off. End of story. If you don't want to listen, please jump off. I'm having a conversation with people. If you don't like it, please leave. I'm having a conversation with entrepreneurs who are absolutely pissed off as to what is going on right now and the way that they're being dealt with. If you don't like it, you're probably in the wrong place. Please go to another webinar. So to me, this whole thing is absolutely highly relevant on all of this. We could sit here now as entrepreneurs and wait for all of this to be over, but we could find ourselves waiting for another year. We could find ourselves waiting for 2 years. We could find ourselves waiting for 3 years. And most entrepreneurs that I know don't want to do that. They don't want to sit and wait for the politicians to tell them that it's all right. They don't want to sit and wait for the media to tell us to get back on with our lives. So here's the 10 reasons why I think you as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, subscribing to success information, who wants to grow, who wants to do better and wants to do more, here are the 10 reasons that I think you should not wait until this is all over. Am I all right to do this, Tamara? Do you mind? Am I okay to have this conversation for the next 5 or 10 minutes? Please let me know if I can do this. And as long as you're happy, I'll continue to do this for the next 5 minutes tomorrow. 10 reasons why. Personal pride in doing something worthwhile. Doing something worthwhile. Now, you can sit and whinge, you can sit and moan, you can sit and watch the TV, you can sit and subscribe to politics, or you can do something worthwhile. And I think building a business, employing people, and committing to helping more people is doing something worthwhile. Number 2, progress. All human beings need to feel like they're making progress. I think that's the biggest challenge that you as an entrepreneur have faced in the last 2 years, is that you've committed when you started your business to wanting to grow. And really what we all want to do is feel like we're growing. And if we want to grow, we have to commit to something. It's the challenges that present themselves when we're growing that gives us that feeling of growth. It's not buying a book. It's not educating ourselves. It's actually committing to growing and doing something that is likely to include a challenge or an obstacle and then overcoming this thing. All human beings need to feel like they're making progress. Another reason why I think you should not wait until all of this is over. Number 3, revenue growth requires a commitment to creating a real marketing function. If you're planning on adding revenue, you have to have a real marketing department. And that can take weeks and months to perfect. It doesn't happen overnight. Candidly, it won't happen after this webinar. It will take you weeks, months, maybe even a year to perfect the marketing department. Some of you have got nothing in your marketing department, and that doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to get results over the next weeks or months. It means that it's a process and a commitment that you have to make, much like a process and a commitment has to happen in order for you to get better as a clinical PT. It doesn't happen overnight. The first time that you see an injury, you have a certain way of treatment. The second, third, fourth, 2 years later, you've probably done it better. If you want to increase your revenue, if you want to increase the money that's coming into your bank, it takes a real commitment. The only way to grow money, revenue, take-home pay is to add more marketing to the fire. Patients are still coming out. They're not staying at home like the first wave. The patients are still coming out. Yeah, there's some skepticism and there's some people who are frightened and there's a few hypochondriacs like somebody else mentioned earlier on. But people are still absolutely coming out. And I'm just trying to point that out to you, that absolutely there is people who will cancel. There are people that might wait for a few more months or whatever, but there is still a hell of a lot of people coming out. And this is very, very different now. Number 5, farmers lay seeds in the winter to enjoy a plentiful and fruitful summer. Farmers lay seeds in the winter to enjoy a plentiful and fruitful summer. The seeds of your business growth need laying now. A lot of people are going to wait till March or April when, again, this passes through. And when this passes through, they're going to commit to marketing. And I think that will be a huge mistake. Commit now, plant the seeds now, so that when the spring comes along and the summer comes along, effectively, your flower, your crops will have been implanted for a few months and ready to rise. You will be in a much better position than the people who start this in March or April. Successful people do not follow the crowd. Most are waiting for the politicians to tell them that they can live their life again. Point number 6, couldn't emphasize it more strongly enough. It baffles me how anybody is listening to this lot. Your competitors are asleep right now. It's never, ever been easier to get ahead. Everybody is subscribing to the fear, the news, the conversations in the bars about what is happening and what might happen. And that's causing people to not think about their business. It's causing them to be hesitant about investing in marketing. It's causing them to doubt themselves. Can anybody relate to that? It's causing them to doubt themselves. It's causing them to second guess themselves. When 2 years ago, at this time of the year, 2 years ago, if this would have been a normal year, at this time of the year, people are hungry, they're ready to invest, they are positive about the year, they look at their business as a vehicle for more money and better lifestyle opportunities, and they rightly invest in staff or in marketing. This time of the year, it's like pulling teeth, trying to get people to commit to marketing because of the fear and the doubt. So the second order consequence of the fact that people are not marketing and not investing is an opportunity for you, because marketing cost is cheaper right now. Think about it. If people are not marketing, it's going to be cheaper. And if people are not marketing, well, you've got the pick. You're not fighting with 10 people. So your competitors, they're probably asleep right now. They're probably not on this webinar right now. And I think that gives you an absolute fantastic opportunity to get ahead than other people. And why not just piss a few people off? Just piss a few people off who hate the fact that you were getting on with your life while they watch CNN, they watch Fox, they watch all of this crap going on around them. I personally, I would just do it to pee them off. Just to watch their face when they're irritated by the fact that you're getting on with your life, you're growing your business, you're comfortable in all of this, you figured out a way to be successful regardless of whatever's going on. And by the way, there are lots of those people who have figured out how to get on with life regardless of what is going on. This is massive. You can't ever think yourself into feeling better. Taking action is how you do that. Have you noticed this? You can think yourself, this is the paradox. Check this out, right? Here's some wisdom. Didn't come from me, came from a very smart mentor that taught me it. You can write this down. I'll give you a second to find a pen. You can think yourself into feeling bad, but you can't think yourself into feeling good. Check that out. You can think yourself into feeling bad, easy, but you can't think yourself into feeling good. The only way to feel good is to do something. It's to change the way you feel. It's to take action. Let's go. It's January 2022. We're here. We're alive. We're fitting well. We've got fantastic skills as PTs. We've got patients who need our services. Let's go. And this is a big one, to stay consistent with what you believe to be true about yourself. If you consider yourself to be a successful person, let's build a successful marketing system for your clinic. If you consider to be a successful person, you're a successful PT, let's stay true to what you know to be true about you. Let's not have this, right? And I know this goes on. I'm going to get into your head for a second, assuming I'm allowed, Tamara. I'm going to try and get into your head for 1 second. I've spoke to thousands of PTs over the last 6 or 7 years. And I think this kind of sums up a little bit about what goes on here. On one hand, you're a very successful PT, right? But over here, you may not have been as successful with marketing. So there's conflict, right? And because there's conflict, there's now doubt and there's fear. You can't understand why you're a really good clinician. Patients absolutely love you. You get fantastic results. And the high that you get from that is high, right? You feel amazing every time you get these patients better. And then we go over here to an office and we have to commit to some marketing and we feel pretty shitty, right? We feel pretty crappy. And we might have done some marketing in the past that didn't work. And because of that, we don't feel good about ourselves. So we start to avoid this thing called marketing and we spend more time over here with the patients. But that's not getting us any real measurable progress in our life. We feel good because we help people, but secretly we wish we had more people to help so we could feel better. Does that make sense to everybody? It's this kind of horrible cycle that you get into, that I know I need to do marketing, but that makes me feel bad because I'm not as good at it. So I stay over here with my patients. That in the end starts to make me feel really good, but it also frustrates me because I want more of them. Because I know if I get more patients, I'm going to feel even better. Does that make sense? And I think that's where a lot of people are stuck. There's a dissonance. There's a conflict is the word, right? There's conflict between I'm very good at clinically, but I'm not so good at marketing. So I think if you consider yourself to be a successful person, right, which I'm sure you are, what we've got to do is go over here and just go, okay, how do we just make 1 or 2 steps forward to improve the success of marketing, to stay consistent with who you are? Because I think if you ignore it, it will be a monkey on your back for life. And it'll be something that you'll every week and every month have conflict with. And it's the conflict that kills you. You look at this life, indecision and conflict, that's the bit that kills people. So if we can get this confirmation that, yeah, you're a fantastic clinical PT and you're really good at this and you're successful, but you're not quite where you want to be in marketing. Well, one of the reasons to do and commit to marketing is to make sure that you've got a heightened level of success in the marketing department as well, so that you can consider yourself a successful person. And we don't have this up and down wave of living your life as a business owner. Does that make sense? Just somebody give me a little sign in the chat. I am here to talk about marketing, but it can't all just be about marketing. There's reasons that people don't do marketing, and there's people being stuck by things that are not necessarily to do with marketing. Help me understand. Type into the chat. Have I got a little bit of a thing there? We've got this successful person going on, this clinical skilled person, and then over here we've got this, like, I don't really love marketing and I don't feel really good about myself and I'm not overly committed to it, and so I avoid it and I spend more time over here getting better clinically, but I've still got this white elephant in the room that I need to nail. That's where I think you really have to face up to where you are and what this is about and why it's so important. Derek, I love that. Thank you. Beth, I love it. That's, you know, when I teach and when I talk and when I write, I try to come from a holistic place, which, Tara, I can't keep just talking about marketing, because that's not just the only problem. There are so many other things going on here. Ultimately, I care about your success, right? And one part of the success is the marketing. But it's the equivalent of somebody who buys the book but doesn't read the book. Well, why aren't we reading the book? It's like, well, I want success, but then it's like, oh, I don't really want to have to spend a few hours reading about marketing because I don't like it. All right. Well, if we keep going down that path, nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to change. You're still going to be a fantastic clinician, but you'll always have this doubt about, could you have helped more people? And I think that's one of the most powerful reasons to commit to marketing. So, questions we're going to answer. Why didn't I get as many patients as I wanted in 2021? Write these down because you can reflect on these later. Again, fantastic strategic questions that you can look at tonight and just say, hey, you know, before we go forward, let's go back. Why didn't I get as many patients as I wanted in 2021? What am I going to do differently in 2022 to ensure that I get a better result? If it was because of COVID, what are you going to do differently this year, right? You might sit there and go, you know, COVID hammered me last year and it wasn't good and, you know, yada, yada, yada. What are you going to do differently? We can't do the same thing. And do I have the system required to avoid the boom and bust? How many people would consider themselves boom and bust? 25 patients one week, 16 the week after, right? A few months goes by, a few weeks go by, nothing really happens. Then all of a sudden, 25 patients, and then I'm down to 12, right? That's this feast or famine, boom or bust. That's the bit that limits your profit potential, and it's the inconsistency that kills you in the end. Another big question for you: who are the clients and patients that you most like working with, and who also offer the best return on your investment in attracting them? If we can find more of these people, what kind of effect would that have on your life, right? Powerful question for you to ask. Who are the clients that you love working with who offer the best return on your investment, right? And a very simple, I remember I was interviewed by Mike Michalowicz, the famous author, and he asked me, what's the secret to marketing? I said, just find the people who spend the most money with you the easiest. That's it. Find the people who spend the most money with you the easiest. And what that means translated to you as you listen to this, if you've picked a pocket of people, a type of patient that doesn't like spending money on their health, well, you're going to have a hard time in business, right? Think about it. This is the strategic view of marketing. If you target a patient who doesn't like spending money, well, you're going to have a problem. So I think you've got to be very careful. You'll already know who spends the most money with you the easiest. If we can find more of those people, what kind of effect would that have on your life? Nicole, absolutely. Which bit do you want? That bit. Do I have the system required to avoid the boom and bust or feast and famine situation that limits your profit potential? Take a screenshot of that, guys. These are good questions. This is where you can take this off yourself tonight, or go to a coffee shop tomorrow morning and think through these questions. This is what I do. I start like this with all of my marketing. Before we go forward, you should always go back. And number 5, What do you want your life and business to look like at the end of 2022? Have you thought about what you need to do to get there, right? What does the personal, monthly revenue, total number of clients, etc., that you need? What does all of that need to look like? What's the personal, monthly revenue, total number of patients, clients, etc., goals that you need to make this all worthwhile? When you see all of that, the reason it's important because it inspires you to want to go and do and commit to more marketing. So think seriously about what you want and don't shy away from thinking big. Once you know what you want, the trick is to find a model to follow. Find a model to follow. Think big and then think bigger again. Think big and then think bigger again. Don't feel guilty for thinking big in this life. There's stuff going on. Never, ever, ever let anybody guilt you into not thinking bigger for your life. You absolutely can have your cake and eat it. You can absolutely have the best of both worlds, inner and outer. Absolute luxuries in your life, the best cars, the biggest houses, pools in your garden, with that inner peace, contentment, balance, feeling confident and good about yourself, knowing who you are and what you're about and staying true to it. You absolutely can have both. I'm adamant that you can. And if you can't, what's the point? What else are we here for? If you think you can't, here's the question: why do you want to be right? Right? If you don't, listen to this. I love this when I get involved in, you can't have it always. I'm like, why the fuck do you even want to be right? Why do you want to be right? Right? This is, again, the crap that people come out with in society. The level of thinking is atrocious sometimes. Well, you just can't have it. You can't have it always. Yeah, you can. You just haven't tried. You absolutely can. You just haven't tried. You haven't committed to it. And even if you can't, why do you want to be right about the fact that I can't? At least I've got a bit of hope, a little bit of aspiration. Do you get it? Be very careful about who you hang around with and the thoughts and the level of cynicism and negativity and doubt and crap that people come out with on a daily basis. You absolutely can think big and think bigger, and don't feel guilty for doing it. There's enough people around you who'll do a bloody good job at making you feel guilty for everything that you want to achieve. Cut them out of your life as fast as you fucking can. They'll ruin it. They'll suck you into the crap and the low level of thinking that they've got going on for themselves, which is fine. Let them go, and they can go and do what they want. Pick a model, pick a person or somebody to get behind, if you like, and copy it. That proven model is what I'm going to show you today. Things that are absolutely not marketing. Let's confirm this one before we get into it. Leaving business cards pinned up in the local Starbucks, hoping that somebody picks one up and calls you. I was in Starbucks this morning for a coffee on my way into the office, and every day it makes me laugh that there's the community update board, and there's the card for the plumber, and there's the card for the chiropractor, and there's like, really is that how we're going to get our phone calls? I mean, and even if we do, what type of client are we getting? The reason that your clients don't respect you, and the reason that they don't show up, and the reason that they cancel at will, is because there's absolutely no what we call preeminence or authority built into it. And it's hard for people to understand that who don't get it. People just live in a world where they think patients just cancel and they just drop off and they just don't come in and they don't want to pay. And primarily, it's because there's no marketing. So let's get it clear. Leaving business cards, fine, do it. While you're in there, put your business card in. But let's just get it clear. That's sales and advertising. It's not marketing. Marketing is about influencing somebody's opinion of you in a positive way before they call you. You don't do that with a business card. With a business card, all they do is call you, but you're not positively influencing their view of you before they call. And that's how you start to get across when it comes to things like Omicron and various other things and negativity and doubt and whatever else it's going to be in the next few years. Money and recession. Once this thing's passed through, the next thing will be recession and nobody's got any money and the world's going to end. These bastards are going to do this forever. That is their job. And it's your job to figure out how to counteract that. And you do it through marketing, not advertising. Spending $500 a month with those dicks at Yelp. They guilt you into negative reviews and making you doubt whether or not they're going to put bad reviews on your site and all this type of stuff. So pay them so they don't, right? Them. Leaving leaflets or flyers, advertising your services in local gyms, hoping that somebody might call. Again, all fine. Do it. Right? But it's not the way to rely. You can't rely upon that. You'll get sporadic calls from all of these things, but that's the problem and what's causing inconsistency. Creating a newsletter for a local doctor who, by and large, won't get to see it as the dragon on the front desk will put it in the bin before you're even back in your car. Again, this is like 1980s stuff. Do it, but it's going to cause inconsistency in your marketing. Getting a free listing on Google, hoping you're going to get the call, ahead of the other 17 other clinics all doing the same thing, right? Again, it's you might get a call, but it'll be inconsistent. Running an ad in a magazine simply because the magazine called and offered you 50% off this week. I love saving money on things I didn't want. Sponsoring an event on the basis that a lot of people will see your logo and will call when they see it. Anybody been tricked into these things? Hey, if you sponsor this event, you'll get loads of calls. 10,000 people will see your logo. Don't make any difference. They don't call. Creating a swag bag of logoed items such as t-shirts, water bottles, pens, and hoodies that can be given out to people in the hope that they'll wear or use them, and anybody who sees them can call you. None of this is marketing. All advertising, right? Advertising is for massive businesses with massive budgets, big budgets. Not you and I, where we're probably $500 to $1,000, dollars a month to get started. So why this is important to you now? Again, obvious things going on. It's the battle of the fittest in business right now. The sharpest and best marketers are winning, and the ones who are not marketing struggling. Simple as that. New cash PT clinics are popping up everywhere. Aaron and Jared and Greg and all of those guys are doing a fantastic job at getting people started with cash PT clinics. So right now they're becoming a commodity. That's the problem. People are not going to their doctors as much. They're looking online. So the referrals and various things to PTs, not as rabid, and everything's changed online when it comes to marketing in the last 18 to 24 months. So we've got to get this solved. I think the biggest advantage for you is that there's never been a better time to get this right and to get ahead. For full disclosure, for those of you who don't know me, right now my own clinic, the Paul Gough Physio Rooms, remains open, and we continue to invest in marketing, and we are acquiring new patients. I still do everything that I teach you. I'll be sharing my own ads across the course of the next hour or so with you, my own marketing plan. Everything that I do for you and give you and teach you is what I'm doing in my own life. I still make money out of running a physio business. I still hire 15 plus people, and I still get the headaches and the brain damage and all of the things that come with running a physio business, as well as the other 3 businesses that I own and run as well. So I'm in the trenches with you, put it that way. We've got ads running right now, some of my staff and Facebook ads and various things that we've got going on. So here's a big question. What is the purpose of a marketing plan, right? Well, really, it's just to make achieving, for example, an extra $100,000 easier. Some of you probably want $200,000. How much extra are you looking for, by the way? That's a good question. How much extra are you looking for? Type into the chat, just give me a vague idea. Somebody looking for $500,000? Or are we looking for 50 grand? Are we looking for 70 grand, 100 grand, 120? What are we looking for extra on top of what you're already getting right now? Type into the chat. Just give me a little bit of an idea of what we're looking for. I think a marketing plan is so you know what are the right things to work on and when, so that you hit your clinic's true profit potential. So we've got about 100, 150. I love this. Yeah, that's about right, right? If we can add another 10, which we can, 200K January, great. You're going to need around about 15 grand a month to do that. So again, all of these numbers can be adjusted, and that's what we'll get into over the next hour or so together. Here's how the typical journey looks. 0 to 12 months, steady increase in patients. Usually about 2 years, it starts to flatline. Then what happens for round about the next 25 years, we get this feast or famine, boom or bust, inconsistent calls, inconsistent lead flow. Anybody resonate with that? First 1 to 2 years, steady increase. Patients hear about you. You are the new kid on the block. Friends and family refer. A couple of gym owners like you. Steady increase. But then what happens is this inconsistent, sporadic boom or bust, right? That's the stuck zone, as we call it at Paul Gough HQ. You get in that stuck zone, it's very hard to come out of it. No matter how, and by the way, I know you're in the stuck zone when you're telling me you're working harder, you're staying later, but you're not getting any massive increase in your revenue. The key is to move to what we call Paul style marketing, lead generation, automated lead flow, people filling out forms, people calling all day, all night, which is very possible, by the way, rather than you having to do the grunt work of go knocking on doors, leave leaflets, business cards, and all that type of stuff. So if you've already got some of that going on, the leaflets, the business cards, the logo, the website, this is the next bit we've got to add to your website. Am I making sense so far to everybody? There's that stuck zone, right? There's a few patients and there's a bit of profit, but it just keeps bouncing around. And it's the most frustrating thing on earth. And it's like, last year I worked 16 hours a day. This year I'm going to work 18 hours a day, right? And it's like, well, the day that you do work 18 hours, you might get a few more patients, but you can't keep it up. So it's like, oh. And I'm like this pretty much all of my life. That is where most people are, most entrepreneurs, most business owners. You've got to stop thinking about working harder and implement what I'm about to teach you. It's not about working harder. It's not about more hustle. It's not about more grind. It's about getting cleverer with your time. For those of you who are new, just a quick introduction. My books, former professional soccer physio. A lot of people think I was a football soccer player. I wasn't. I was a physio for soccer teams. I own 4 clinics. I've written now 5 books, in fact, and actually just penning number 6. I was working on that this morning before I came on air. Book number 6 is on its way. Me and my early days on the field, and my favorite role, 3 boys. I'm the very lucky, very proud dad of 3 absolutely beautiful boys, and I love spending my time with them, and all of my business decisions and everything that I do is geared around protecting time and being with them as much as I can. Right after this, I'm off to Disney. I can see it. I'm 5 minutes from the thing, and I'm picking the kids up. We're off to Disney this afternoon. I was a small business icon, best in class for lead nurture and conversion systems. And for those of you who are new, there's a lot of virgins. That's all the sites you can find. There's podcast and YouTube channel. You should definitely check it out. So turn off your phone, have a pen and paper, focus 100% for the next 90 minutes on the material I'll be teaching you. You will have things that you can do, take away from today, write down, think about, action, implement, whatever you want to call it. I'll talk to you about my story so you can get a feel for where I came from. Case studies, other PTs who've done exactly what I've told you or I'm going to tell you today, how you can implement the new marketing plan at your clinic. And I know many of you are here to ask and find out about the new 12-week marketing masterclass program, as is called, New Patient Accelerator, that kicks off next week, actually, and you'll find out a little bit more about that at the end as well. So my story, I was a professional soccer PT. I loved it, knew I would be better off if I was more entrepreneurial. And I really knew that if I wanted to make the money that I was capable of, then I'd have to leave and I'd have to start my own business. It was very risky, very frightening. I'm sure that many of you have experienced that, possibly still feeling it, kind of contemplating, should I have kept my job? Should I get a job? We all have that for years, and it doesn't really ever, it never goes away until you really crack the marketing thing. What made it even worse for me, I started my business in a country that had a completely free healthcare system, because every single citizen of the UK is entitled to free physical therapy paid for by the government, by what is the term that is increasingly used in the US, the fear of socialist medicine. There's a little bit of it in Canada, a little bit of it in Australia and various parts of Western world, but it's absolutely dominant in the United Kingdom. It's pretty much all free healthcare in the United Kingdom. So starting a private practice was a little risky. I started it in 2007 after I quit my job. I had a room in my home. I didn't have any money, definitely didn't have any business experience. I was just a good PT. I knew what I was doing. I could help people with back pain. I'd seen more ACL rehabs from working in soccer than I ever dreamed that I would. I knew hamstrings, I knew ankle strains, I knew back problems, hip problems, groin problems, whatever, right? Knee problems, cartilage problems. I knew all of that, and I could fix it with my eyes closed. But I definitely didn't have any business skills, and I didn't have any relationships with doctors. You might have noticed, but I'm not necessarily somebody who likes to kiss people's asses, right? I'm not great at it. I don't like it. I don't like schmoozing. I hate having to suck up to people. I have no love of it. If it's you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. I'm not interested in anything else. I do not want to make a living any other way than I am who I am, and I believe in what I believe in, and I say what I believe in. Anything else, I'm not interested in. And I knew that from a very early, from a very early age. I'm very much I'm very good at what I do in this world, but away from it, I keep myself to myself, and I'm very introverted, and I'm definitely not the life and soul of a party. And if you come to any of my events, I like to do what I do on stage, and then I like to go to bed. I'm just that type of guy. I don't like networking. I don't like knocking on doctors' doors and introducing myself and all that type of stuff. Never going to happen. So I had to figure out something else. Tough in the beginning, competing against free, but I got going, and I did probably what you did, made use of friends and family, and managed to build a steady client base. I think the lucky break for me in the beginning was 1 or 2 workers' comps, the whiplash type stuff, the car crashes. They got in touch and said, hey, we can send you a few patients. And I thought, you know what, let's give it a go. I've got nothing to lose, right? By 2011, I was doing all right. I was surviving. I was making a living. I'd probably replaced my salary. but I was probably now working an extra 5 hours a day for the same salary. Profits had flatlined because of the cutbacks in the national health. If you remember, this was sort of 2008, 2009 recession, global recession, the big one back in that period of time. Very few jobs were available, meaning more PTs setting up their own practices. And because of the recession, insurance companies were making big cuts to the reimbursement fees, making it harder to make a profit. It's almost like deja vu. What did they say? History doesn't repeat itself, but it sure does rhyme. 12, 14 years on, we're kind of in the same boat right now, where insurance companies are going to slash their fees again and again and again to, I suspect, get some of this money that they've lost, that they didn't expect to have to pay out because of COVID. There's only one way they're going to get that back, and we all know where it starts. It'll start in California, and it'll start with the PTs. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that one out, because it's been going on for the last however many years. It's already happened in England with Bupa and various insurance companies cutting their rates. So we're all in for it over the next year or two. Many times I'd be told that my rates were cut by 30 to 40%, meaning I'd have to work twice as hard to get what I wanted. Number of new PT practices everywhere. I'm telling you, this is just history repeating. It just rhymes. History is just rhyming with itself 12 to 14 years ago. But that was the least of my worries. 2012, I was working too hard. I was a very manual physical therapist. I used my hands a lot. I was obviously involved in soccer. I've still got the deformed fingers, if you like, from all of the mobilizations and deep tissue massages and various things that I was doing for the soccer players that got me to a point where my fingers, I could barely send text messages. My thumbs were that, were in that much pain. But worse was to come. Ironically, I was on vacation in Orlando at the time, 2012. I ended up at the Dr. Phillips Hospital in Orlando. I had a heart scare. I live with a benign ectopic heartbeat. I didn't know it at the time, but I thought I was having a heart attack, and what it really was too much stress that was causing electrical impulses, electrical signals to fire faster. I thought my heartbeat was missing a beat and causing it was going to stop. I genuinely felt that my heart was going to stop. I was holding on tighter and tighter, and what was happening is the angst and the anxiety and stress and the worry of that was causing more and more electrical impulses to be sent, and that was causing my heart to race and actually add beats rather than stop. So it was a complete disaster for this period of time in my life, and thankfully it got sorted out. But it was really all caused by the stress and the extra work that I was doing, and I still to this day live with it. And I know whenever I go too far, whenever I get too angst about something, this little thing pops. It's almost a beautiful trigger, if you like. This little thing starts sending off electrical impulses. My heart starts racing, and it's like, right, Paul, you're gonna have to calm down. You're gonna have to slow down a little bit, and you're gonna have to get back to a calmer way of living. So for me, it was a beautiful wake-up call, not what I wanted or expected at 31, but in hindsight, I'm actually quite lucky that I got that scare, because it allowed me to change my life, my diet, my exercise regimes, alcohol intake, everything changed. And most importantly, how I was running, or not most importantly, but certainly a huge thing happened to me where I had to change my lifestyle. I had to change the thing that I was doing in my office. And really what the problem was, I wasn't in control. I was thinking about the future all the time. I was angst. Have you noticed most people in society fall into two categories? People in society generally depressed, right? They look in the past. Business owners, we look into the future. We're angst, right? We're angst. Depression, look in the past. That's where a lot of conversations are, in the past, the good old days and when life was good. And I remember when, right? That causes depression. What you find as an entrepreneur, you and I, we live in the future. We always believe that life's going to be better, and we want it to be better. We need it to be better. And if we're not careful and we don't control that, that creates angst. And that's what causes the stress. That's why so many business owners have heart problems, because angst. You're living in the future. Hopefully that helps you. If you've been through anything like that, I'm with you. I know exactly how it feels. You get those little palpitations or the stress or whatever it is that's going on. You're living too far in the future, and you're worried about the future, worried about those reimbursements, worried about people quitting, worried about people canceling, worried about all sorts of things. Anybody resonate or relate? Been through it with you, and it's a horrible thing, but it's the truth that sets you free, as they say. Once you really understand what it is, you're not in control. You're living tense. You're living tight. When you start to relax a little bit, you get your business under control. Yeah, you'll always swing in and out, but most of the time you can bring yourself back. So anyway, I hope that helps. It's certainly something I like to pass on. So something had to give. I considered walking away and going back to my, my day job, if you like, but I didn't. I had to get back to control of my business. It stopped being exciting, and it started being a stressor and angst. And that wasn't necessarily what I anticipated when I was in business. So because I'd relied upon patients being sent to my practice, I wasn't very good at converting people to cash pay. Anybody relate? It's hard. It's hard if you don't know what you're doing and you haven't got marketing and you haven't got the right scripts and the right positioning for yourself. Patients will walk all over you. They'll walk all over you. They'll tell you that they don't want you. They'll cancel. They'll drop off. They'll tell you they can get it cheaper. But if you've got the right position, you have the right level of authority and confidence when you speak to people, and you know how to speak to them candidly, this can get better for you. I did waste money on marketing and ads that didn't work. And if I did get calls, they were usually from the I just want 1 or 2 sessions type patient. I just want you to get me out of pain. And it did make running a business very, very difficult. I was lucky enough to stumble across this thing called education-based marketing, a way of marketing your practice and acquiring new patients by adding value up front so that they see the value in advance. For me, that changed everything. Value-based or education-based marketing is the one single strategy that I've used to grow my physical therapy business from a clinic that had me stuck, almost burnt out and losing money, to a $1 million plus practice in less than 13 months. We exploded the business. I think it grew by something like 320% in 12 months. And best of all, we don't have to rely upon any insurance or doctors. Great if they come, but we don't have to rely upon it. I built a team of people that can run that business for me. 5 books now. You're underselling yourself, Paul. I've got a self-serving practice. Its foundation is 80% of its patients coming and paying in cash without any input from doctors or third-party referrals. I am a local author, newspaper author, and you can see me in my very young days. When was this one taken? May 22nd. These things were, back in probably 2014, 2015, 2013, in fact. So in 9 years, I've been writing articles for newspapers. As a fresh-looking Paul on those articles. We still write those articles to this day for those newspapers. I get to travel the world. Any of you who follow me, you'll know I love to travel. I'm off to Utah next week with the boys. We're off skiing. I was in Britain for Christmas. I just love to travel. I think it's the most exciting thing. Taking my kids, my goal is to give my kids the best perspective on this life that they can possibly get. Not one that somebody else prepared for them, that's for sure. Not one that the bastards that seem to want to run this world have predetermined is the right one for my family. I'd rather show them around it and let them decide for themselves what they can do and what they can achieve in this life. So we've been everywhere from Australia to across the US, Dubai, Canada, San Diego, Philadelphia, New York, Hollywood, all over the place. And now we spend most of our time walking around the world at Epcot Center, enjoying 1 or 2 drinks when we moved across from the United Kingdom. So you really can go places in spite of what's going on. Even in the time of COVID, you can still travel. You can still get to where you want if you're brave enough, courageous enough internally. And you set the business up in a way that you trust it and the people around you. You get your marketing dialed in. You really still can live an absolutely terrific life, and never, ever, ever let anybody tell you otherwise. Cut them out of your life if anybody tells you any otherwise. Let them all go and be miserable together is what I say. I'm happy for you. If you want to be miserable, good for you. Just don't bring me to that pity party. Thank you. Best, I'm not the only person that's benefited from this type of marketing. I just want to show you these, then we're going to get into it. Kevin started to work with us. He started on this webinar a few years back. Within 3 months, he was able to grow a cash-based practice to $20,000 a week. Now, actually, Kevin is just under $1 million, might even cross the $1 million mark, I believe, this year as a 100% cash-based business. I think he did about 900,000 in revenue last year, and is one of our fantastic students still with us to this day in our mastermind and CEO program. Nick, insurance-based business. Nick really wanted some help. He was doing too many hours, let's just put it that way. Kids didn't see him, wife never saw him, was at the mercy of insurance and doctors. And over the last 2 or 3 years, he's again grown just under $1 million practice using our marketing. But best, transitioned from insurance to mostly cash and out of network now, and has less liabilities, less overheads, less time at work, but makes absolutely more money. So if you're a cash business, we can do this for you. If you're an insurance business and you're trying to move and transition, not cut the cord completely maybe, but get a few more cash high-paying patients, this is going to work for you as well. And Trupti, superstar, love Trupti. She went from, I think she's in DC and she was charging like $100 an hour. In fact, that slides out of date now. Trupti's somewhere close to 350. But she did this webinar with us, got involved with us, took the programs, did what we told her to do, changed the way she marketed herself, changed her prices, changed her phone conversations, changed the way she positioned her plans of care rather than one-off sessions, and is now one of our shining successes. So we've got people from every country, whether you're in the United Kingdom, obviously we've got hundreds of success stories there, myself included, Canada, Australia, we've got people in Dubai, Brunei, Oman, we've got people in Denmark, and various places around the world. We're very proud of the community globally that we've created. And this system that I'm going to give to you today, or an opportunity to get, is universally, it does not discriminate in any way, whether you are a brand new business, whether you are a $1 million practice trying to make more profit, get away from doctors. This can work for you. And never, ever, ever rule yourself out because you think you're different. You think, you know, your business is different and your town is different. And Paul, you don't understand. My town is different and my country is different. And, you know, this is different, and it isn't, right? And again, why do you want to be right? Just always remember that phrase. I started to ask myself, anytime doubt creeps in, ask yourself, why do you want to be right about this? Because being right doesn't end well either. So let's just have a go, right? And then when you commit to having a go, actually it gets quite fun and it gets quite exciting. And you start to live with a new energy, a new belief, a new direction, a new confidence in yourself. And isn't that, I challenge you all listening, isn't that what we really want from business? A new energy in yourself. I'll say it again, a new belief in yourself, a new confidence in yourself, a new direction in your life. Waking up every day knowing that you're living your purpose, that you're hitting challenges, but you're smashing them down. You come in on a night energized, confident, fulfilling your true potential as an individual, not just as a business owner, as an individual. You're confident in yourself. You've got your self-belief. You're backed by it. You don't need anybody else to back you. You don't need me. You don't need anybody to back you except yourself. If you harness that self-belief, magic can happen in your life. And I'm absolutely adamant and a firm believer of it. Again, just write that one down. Write this down, please. I mean it. Anytime doubt creeps in, ask yourself, why do you want to be right? Watch how quickly that little gremlin goes to bed. So let's get into it. Let's create the marketing plan to make all of this work. Well done, by the way. Well done to you for still being here. 500. I can see a couple of people trickle out and then a couple of people come back in. We're just going over the 500 mark all the time. Well done to you. Honestly, and I really mean that. It's very rare. It's very rare that anybody will tell you that type of thing, that the commitment to do this type of thing. Well done to you, honestly, for getting, even listening to my bullshit for the last hour and 5 minutes to get to this point. We always have to go into the backstory and, you know, go deep, so that when we load this next hour onto you, which is probably the bit you kind of arrived for, Tamara definitely did. This is the bit that we're going to now get a little bit more tactical, but we've got to do all of that stuff first. So these are the 5 things that your marketing plan absolutely needs. Person, let's consider that. No marketing can ever work without being clear on who you want to target. Are you clear on who is your best spender? It was the conversation we had about 20 minutes ago. Who should you target? I think you should target the person that spends the most money with you the easiest. It's just a really simple way of approaching business, and I love that. If you're trying to attract everybody, you'll attract nobody. At my clinic, we focus on one person, somebody in their mid to late 50s, now even into their 60s, usually female. Message. When I know who that person is, it makes it easier for me to talk to them. Will you talk about solving a problem? Or will you connect with them by a fear that they have or a false belief that they hold, right? And this idea of getting really clear on who your audience is, right? It's it's just vital. I don't know if I have any other words, right? I'm very, very clear on who my audience is, right? Chances are, if you love all of the politics and you love all of the BS going on around the world on Facebook and social media, and you like all of this kind of cancel culture and all of that shit and whatever else, if you like all of that, you're going to hate me, right? You're going to absolutely hate me. I have no hesitation in saying it. If you think politics is amazing and you think Twitter and Facebook and all of these things do good in the world, and you love this cancel culture and you're PC brigaded and all this, right? You will hate me, right? Because I'll just irritate the life out of you. If you like being miserable and depressed, you'll hate me. You'll absolutely hate me. I'll never let you do it. I'll never let you believe that that is a better way to live. So you wouldn't hang around with me. And candidly, I wouldn't want you hanging around with me, right? I don't want to be miserable. And I don't want to be at the mercy of politicians and living as to what is being said on Facebook and the news and in the press and whatever else. I don't want to live that way, right? So I'm very clear on who the person is that I want to work with. So I'm very clear on what I say. Do you get it? I'm not interested. Whether somebody wants to jump off this webinar because they don't like my views, fine. But the other 500 obviously do, right? So we've got a connection. We can start to talk to each other about entrepreneurial spirit, about being independent in our decisions, about being autonomous in our decisions, about actually living a life on our terms. Because after all, isn't that why we went into business? About having some fun. Let's throw that one into the mix, about actually having some fun in business, having a smile on your face, enjoying it, not having to put up with people saying shit that you don't want around you. I absolutely believe that that's the way you should run your business. It's not a free-for-all. This is not a labor of love. It's got to be that you absolutely want to run this business on your terms. And don't let anybody ever tell you that you can't do the same. The only ones who are the ones who haven't tried, who genuinely haven't tried. And again, sadly, that's the majority of the world, that they don't try to run business on their terms, set it up for themselves to serve them, not the other way around. Because the way I see it, most people are running a business that doesn't serve them. They're getting walked all over by everybody. They're a shadow of themselves. They're getting chopped up into pieces, trying to please everybody, frightened to raise prices in case they get a bad review, frightened to tell a patient to leave the building. You're not our type of client. You're ignorant or rude. Number one rule in my business, no dickheads in all of them, tattooed everywhere. No dickheads anywhere. You want to give my staff shit on me? Leave. Categorically leave. I do not want your money. No interest in it whatsoever. I want your custom and I want your lifelong relationship. I actually want to enjoy spending time with you as well. Right? And I can't do that if we have completely different views about stuff, or you want something else that I can't. And that's where marketing gets very important for you as you listen to this. You have to be able to go, who's my ideal client? Who's my ideal patient? And what do I need to say? We get into a beautiful relationship because I know exactly what that they want. The other option you've got is to advertise services, right? If you advertise services, it's painful and it's also very expensive. So to make this clear to you, if you follow what the big hospital systems do, right? You drive along the equivalent of your i4, right? The i4 is right in front of me. And I can see a big board for a company called, I think it's Racetrack or Racetrack, right? And on the other side of it is Verizon. Now, they're advertising there, but they're also both national brands. They've got millions of dollars, and you and I haven't got it. So what they're doing, right, is advertising. And if you're watching a hospital system or a big national PT clinic, they'll advertise their services. It's basically, we exist. This is what we do. Call this number. That is not what you and I do. Do not try to advertise your services. You're going to have so much more success by saying things that resonate with your customer. Does everybody get this? Because this is the most pivotal part of marketing. The biggest mistakes that get made, where am I going, number one person quickly for a screenshot? Where am I going, Derek? I'll see if I can get you back there. There, take a quick screenshot on that, guys. If you need it, there you go, Derek. Got it? Sweet, all right. Brilliant. All right. So the bit that you've got to get clear on, right? And I'm teaching fundamentals here. If you don't know who they are, step one, we can't talk to them properly. We can't say the things. We're going to turn them off, right? And by the way, sometimes you want to turn them off to make it easy for them to make a decision, which is contrary to how you probably thought about marketing, which was everybody is a customer. They're not. They're not at all. Of 20,000 people reading a newspaper, I only need 5 people to call me. Really understand that. Of 20,000 people reading a newspaper, I only need 5 to call. Of 10,000 people that I could show a Facebook ad to, I only need 5 to call me. There's 500 people on this webinar. I only need 10 to work with me after, right? That's it. That's really the story of life. The story of your business life is it's not about the masses. It's about finding the 10 that want what you've got, who like what you're about, who like what you teach and your solution to their problem, whether it's their back pain or their knee pain or whatever, in a way that they can resonate with and go, yeah, that's for me next. So in our world, you might be able to say, are you worried about losing mobility or independence? Are you worried about losing mobility or independence? Have you been told to keep stretching? If you're in the CrossFit niche, that's your marketing message. Because you know that in that CrossFit gym, the guy or the girl in there is getting told by the instructor to keep stretching. If you just stretch that shoulder, everything will go away. So I can resonate now with the CrossFit guy based upon that false belief. The false belief he's got is that if he keeps stretching, everything will be all right. My perfect patient, this is how I resonate. Did your doctor tell you it was your age and to just accept it? That is absolute 101 out of the patient's mouth. That's where I got that from. The number of patients who told me, Paul, my doctor said it was my age, and then I had to accept it. When you really listen to the patients, they're going to tell you what your marketing message needs to be. Your patients are not going to say, your health, our hands, a better you, reach the peak of your potential, and all that shit that people come out with for their businesses. That's a slogan. It's not a marketing message. Slogans are for big corporations, Nike. They're not for small businesses like Paul Gough Physio Rooms, right? They're not. There's not enough money for somebody to understand what that means, but they can very quickly understand, did your doctor tell you it was your age, and just accept it? Or they can very quickly understand a Facebook ad that says, dear Mr. CrossFit guy or girl, have you been told to keep stretching by the well-meaning instructor in the box? If so, I think you need to talk to me because that's probably not going to solve your problem. Everybody get it? Am I on the right tracks? So we're making a pivotal shift between the two different things that you've got going on here. Advertising is probably what you've been doing, and that's why it's going wrong. What we need to do is actually just really simply figure out who your perfect patient is, and then craft a marketing message around it. All of the magic is in those two things, and that's the bit that people don't do. You've got to stop running ads that look like this. I'm going to show you some of my not so successful ads. So I'd call that an image ad, right? Or brand ad. And that was an ad, a leaflet turned into a newspaper ad. Ease your pain fast with physio. So I did this about 10 years ago, right? Real life, walking, talking, put this in magazines. I put this in newspaper ads. It just sells my services, right? So I'm just advertising my services. And all I'm saying is call now to book and enjoy the benefits that private physio can bring, right? I don't actually mention what those benefits are, by the way. And that's why I didn't get very many calls when I used to run this type of ad, despite spending a lot of money on it. And despite the fact it looks nice, doesn't it look like the type of ad you might expect a physio or a chiropractor to run? Yeah, it does. But all I'm doing is advertising and listing services. And it doesn't get you the volume of calls that you need. So lots of people, right? Lots of people who teach marketing, they're actually teaching advertising. They're going to tell you to do this. I'm going to tell you to do something totally opposite. There's no message in it. That's the reason it went wrong. The money's in the message. So you must start running ads that look like this. These things promise outcomes and show value. Would we all agree that patients want value? Do you want value? Do you want value from me, right? Well, that value can start before you become a customer. if I can deliver on some kind of value and help you understand something about this crazy hocus pocus kind of world of marketing, well, I've already started to deliver on value. I haven't solved your problem at this point, but I've started to deliver some value. And as such, there's a lot more confidence in me and potentially working with me after this webinar in Accelerator or one of our other programs. And I think you've got to do exactly the same with patients. This is how I built my physio business from where it was to where it is today. I moved away from the brand, from that to this. And if that got one call, this got 10, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever, right? Same money being spent, $200 or $300, but 3-4-fold increase, 5-fold in the number of patients calling me. Because I'm talking about an outcome and I'm showing value. So I'm offering free information and I'm resonating with their problems. So if you know somebody who has recurring migraine headaches that are so fierce, they have to lock themselves in a dark closet, or shoulder pain that is ruining the enjoyment that they can get out of living their life, it's time to show them this letter. Now, where did I get that title from? Any ideas? Where did I get that message from? We've got any students who want to play with me and go through this? Where do you think I might have got that message from? Type into the chat. Talking to the patients, Beth. Exactly. I'm literally taking out of their mouth what they're telling me, and I'm running it as an ad. How beautiful is that? That's why the phone rings, because people resonate with it. So when I put this webinar together, right, let me take you out of physio. When I put it into this web, the reason that it's been the most eagerly anticipated webinar for a long time, because it mentioned Omicron hesitant patients, because that's what everybody's got right now, right? They're not necessarily not showing up. I use the words hesitant, right? Where did I get the word hesitant from? From you. Because that's what people have been telling me. Paul, patients are hesitant right now. What do I do? Cool. So I'll take that exact word and I'll put that into the title of my webinar. And I'll talk about how we build trust to overcome hesitancy and what we need to do to build more trust and confidence into the decision-making of our patients. How else did I come up with a webinar? Well, I polled my audience. What's the number one problem? Can't get referrals from doctors. No matter how hard I try, they won't send them me. I'm cash-based, they'll never send them me, and I'm insurance-based, and they've stopped sending them me. Great, right? And then the third one, how much do you want to make? 100 grand, 120 grand, right? Let's put a webinar together about Omicron hesitant patients, how to get referrals without doctors, and how to give yourself a 10 grand a month pay rise. All three of those boxes ticked, and they all came from the words of the people on this webinar today. When you really get this, it's fascinatingly easy. And it's like I said at the start of the session today, if you close off from this, it'll haunt you for the rest of your business career. If you embrace it and you move towards it, it's actually really fun. It's really fun, and it's really exciting when you get to understand how people are motivated and why they move, why they spend money with you, why they don't, why they say what they don't say, or why they say what they do say. So this type of ad is about outcomes and showing value. With this type of ad, value first, adding a simple step that asks them to engage and connect with your message first. So part number 3, right? We've got the who and we've got the what you need to say. Next, where do we advertise to them? So it's only when you know who they are and what the message is, and it's compelling, then and only do you select the medium. So what platform does the person use? So let me bring this up right very quickly. Where I think, and again, please pay attention to this little bit. This is a beautiful nuance from working with hundreds of clients. I think I know, right, let me explain it like this. I know a marketing campaign is about to fail when a client says to me, we want to do something with email, or we want to do something on Instagram. What should we do? Or, Paul, we want to do Google. I shudder with fear at what's coming next. A failed marketing campaign. Because what happens is, and quite often it's a well-meaning marketing assistant who does this, the marketing assistant says, we should do some newspaper ads, or we should do some Google. And everything starts at the media level, where to advertise. They skip the who to advertise and what to say in the advertising. So they are advertising, they're not marketing. Marketing is the who and the message, pushed down different channels. Does everybody get that? Anytime you start with the let's do Instagram or let's do Facebook or let's do whatever, which is where everybody goes, you always ask me about Instagram, always ask me about email, always, not bothered, not interested. It's irrelevant. We shouldn't only be doing one anyway. We got to go all the way back up to who is it? What do we need to say? And can we find them on those channels? Does that make sense? So do they read newspapers? Well, if your client's 50, 60, yeah, they still do. Do they go to local events? Yes. Will you find them on Facebook or Google? Probably. You'll find most people on Facebook these days. And the real hottest clients, they're on Google searching for you all day, every day. So you've got to get in front of them and make sure that your Google Ads game is hot. Google has been, for the last 12 months, 18 months, certainly since the first wave of COVID passed through, the greatest place to advertise that I've ever seen in 15 years of running a business. I've always done Google and I've always loved Google. And if you ask me, is it, when you have that debate that, who's the greatest, Jordan or LeBron or Jordan or whoever, right? Who's the greatest, Facebook or Google? It's always been Google for me. Always been Google. Loved it, particularly for small business. But it's been even better for the last 18 months. And anybody that's thinking about being on Google Ads, you're probably right that you should be there. Like, just get there as fast as possible. Can you target them with postcards or direct mail? And number 4, what's the budget? What's the budget? What's the forecast? Both of those two things used quite loosely. But really what we're saying is just what's the target? If, like so many of you, you want that $10,000 pay rise, your fee per session is $200, right? Minimum should be these days. Minimum, by the way. Everything's gone up. Why hasn't your fees? Everything has gone up over the last 12 to 18 months. Everything, except insurance reimbursements. But don't get me started on that one. Patient visit average, 5. Minimum, probably should be 10. That means that they spend minimum $1,000 with you. That means the total new patients required is 10. Current conversion ratio is 1 in 3. That means for every 3 people who call you, 1 says yes. It means you need 30 leads. How many are you currently getting? Right? That's how you do, very simply, your marketing budget for the month. Out of curiosity, just type into the chat, just 3 or 4 people give me a little bit of a sign. How many leads are you currently getting and what's your shortfall? What's your shortfall? Tell me your shortfall. Just give me your shortfall. Based upon that little equation for your circumstances, what do you think the shortfall is or the gap in your marketing? Just while I have a quick drink. What do you think? And actually 16 to 29 leads. I like that. Great. So we've got a shortfall of about 20 to 30 leads, right? Nothing, that's not that's not big. Like that's a Google Ads campaign plus some remarketing. It's not that big of a deal. Come on, what else? Type into the chat. Just help me, guys. Give me a bit of an idea. So again, as I go through the teaching, I try to make it relevant for you. Have I got somebody on here who needs 200 leads? Derek, 20 to 30. Love it. Keep going. Love that. That's usually, by the way, when I've done this over the years and I've taught this to people. Anybody else going to play? I need a couple more just to give me some context. That's usually where people find themselves. And what's interesting about this is 20 or 30 leads is not that difficult to get. Once you know how many you need, it's much easier to go and get them, which is why I wanted to do this with you today in person. And I hope that as you go through this, there we go, Tara, 20 to 30, fantastic, right? 20 to 30 leads a month. I hope that you realize now, as you're doing this, how close you are to the gold. 20 to 30 leads is not patience. It's just 20 or 30 people on your website, getting in touch, live chat, sending a quick email, asking about your prices. And if we turn 10 of them into patients and you charge $200 and they have 5 sessions, you've added 10 grand a month. Now, what gets really fun, if you charge $300 and you have 10 patients, 10 visits, you probably only need 3 patients. Everybody get that? So this is the foundation for how you think about your marketing and what to do. I can see Tara, I can see Derek, Meenakshi, you guys are so close. You don't realize how close you are to add in some simple things, whether it's email marketing or postcard marketing or a newspaper ad probably gets you on average 7 to 10 calls every time. Facebook, 10 to 15 leads a month for $600 or $700. Google, 15 to 20 for $1,000. Workshops, 10 people in a room, 5 will say yes. You're so close. If you just put these little things in play, you're going to have a fantastic 2022. So now you know how many leads you need. Next, you need to go and get them. And this is where the fifth and most vital part of the plan comes in, the system, right? This all-encompassing, we've gone through the who, we've gone through the message, we've gone through the budget, we've gone through the media. Next, it's the marketing system. And it's the marketing system that goes and gets them. So we can't leave it at the plan. So if the plan is we need 30 leads a month and 10 to say yes, well, if that just sits on your desk, obviously nothing's going to happen. So that's the difference between a plan is the benchmark and the foundation. It's the map. And the system that we're going to get into now is how you go and get them. Without the system, you've got the map, but no keys. Ultimately, the plan tells you what you need and the system gets it for you. Have you got the system to execute on the plan? This is the key point. And I think this is why, this is the bit that excites people. Marketing system is how you get there. The plan is the roadmap and the marketing system is the vehicle, right? So the system can fuel and accelerate your growth, and in conjunction with the right plan, it's much easier to be successful. To be successful, you're absolutely going to need the plan and the marketing system. So who wants to look at how to create the system? You all got time to hang around with me for another half an hour or so, 40 minutes maybe? Would you like to go through the 3 parts of the system? And I'll show you some ads and various things that we're going to share. Good. All right. 3 parts: attraction system, nurture system, conversion system. If you've read the book, this is a deeper look at all of that. So that's pretty much how it looks. That's how it started for me. I mapped all this out when I was on a flight coming back from Chicago 8 years ago now, 2013, when I really stumbled upon this type of marketing. So what we're going to look at is the attraction system. It gets you the volume of leads that you need, right? So I can see most people need 20, let's call it 20 to 30 leads. This is how you'll get the leads, right? Not patients, the leads. Big difference, right? First and foremost, you're going to get leads. Lead generation is the style of marketing that small businesses have to play. It's a means of targeting and attracting your perfect patient that you identified in the plan. It's about the media or the platform that you've used and using different media to get your message in front of different people. So we're going to offer them something of value. That could be in a video, it could be in free reports, it could be a blog, expert tips, those types of things. I love free information reports. Always have, always will. People want information before they buy anything. Anytime you try to shortcut the process of not educating a customer, you inherit bad customers, right? And all of these people who are canceling and dropping off and not booking appointments and resisting your prices, they have not been educated. They have absolutely no clue who you are or what you do. So we use free reports. We can use videos. You can talk about their problems, show how you can help, and invite them to make contact. You can do blogs. They're never about PT. They're always about helping somebody make insightful decisions about their health, right? So these are newspaper campaigns that we've run. Dean had a fully in-network traditional insurance business. Oliver had a hybrid. Jennifer, hybrid, mostly out of network. And the guys in San Diego, all cash, right? So we were running newspaper ads for cash, hybrid, and traditional insurance businesses. But look at the difference, again, in the type of advertising versus the traditional brand advertising that you might see. The traditional brand advertising, that one I showed you might get 1 or 2 calls. This could get 8 to 10. Big difference. But the client arrives better as well. So tips columns, these types of things, still writing articles for newspapers to get phone calls. And we found that if you do both, some hybrid of a good, solid, value-based newspaper ad or a free tips report that would be like a blog on a website is double in response. And most importantly, the leads are better. Facebook, strategy on Facebook I've been using for probably 5 years now. Ad number 1 is a video, talks about why back pain lasts so long. And then ad number 2, if you've watched number 1, we'll show you number 2 and you'll opt in, you'll get the free information and you will give us your telephone number and we'll give you a call and we'll start the process. Quizzes on Facebook work very, very, very well. People love to be engaged. We made this thing called the low back injury severity assessment, and we engage people on Facebook with that. They fill out the form, they give us their details, and then we call them back and run through the quiz or the survey with them. The thing to look at when you do Facebook, and this is what we did with Dean's clinic, all different types of offers, whether it's a video offering some information, whether it's a demonstration of an exercise, whether it's entertainment, whether it's a strong call to action to book an appointment. You need different types of stuff to work on Facebook to make it work. You'll know it can be frustrating, and there have been significant changes, particularly over the last 6 to 12 months. Advertisement capability in news feeds has reached capacity, and that's what we found towards the end of last year. Advertising costs on Facebook went up, so you have to be a lot more creative in how you use that platform now. So we'll put videos out, and we'll put the quiz out, we'll put the blogs out, we'll put the free reports out. So we're playing around all of the time with different ways to engage patients. But one of the best things that you can do, and this is where we found it really impactful, the power of becoming a celebrity on Facebook. We use a lot of our Facebook advertising for clients to turn them into celebrities. So when they walk around, they're in the bank or they go to the shops in their local community, people recognize them because they've been watching their videos. That massively increases authority and buy-in at this time. You know, if you're absent of any buy-in, of any authority, that's why people won't pay your prices. If they've believed in you, they trust you, they've watched you, they feel like they know you, they recognize you, well, there's trust there. And it's that trust that gets people to pay that extra $50 or have that extra 5 sessions that they need versus the, you know, the 5 that they've had, if you like, or willing to have. And that's the bit that makes all the difference for you. So to me, I use a lot of Facebook. You know, a lot of people recognize me because of Facebook and videos. And if I go to events or, you know, big things in the PT profession, a lot of people know who I am. I can just be quite happily minding my own business, walking along a corridor, and people are like, "There's Paul." I'm like, you know, who the hell are you? And they're like, "Oh, I've seen you on Facebook." Right. So in their eyes, I'm already a mini celebrity, if you like. So there's a lot more authority there. Again, we're putting the sort of person at the front of this to raise their credibility, raise their celebrity status, raise their focus, raise the attention level on that person, which massively increases. Because I suspect you're not on here just for patients. You want to know how to get the best patients. And really, the best patients are nurtured and matured. The difference between a good customer and a bad customer of a business is usually a lack of marketing at the start, right? Please write that down. It's the truth. The difference between a good customer and a bad customer is a lack of marketing. If you've been marketing to that customer, they understand you, they know who you are, they're much more likely to trust you, they're much more likely to do what you tell them, and therefore they're much more likely, and this is the best bit, to get the outcome that they want. If they don't trust you, they don't know you, there's resistance, they won't follow through on your plan of care. That's how it works. Google Ads, easily, undoubtedly, like I said earlier, non-negotiable, the #1 source of referrals for the most successful clinics in 2021. Everyone's online, right? You don't need me to tell you. If there's been a good thing about COVID, it's that everybody's gone online for their shopping, right? Look at the stock market. Well, it hasn't been too good the last few days, but generally Amazons and Apples and all these, they've all shifted online. Everybody's selling stuff online now. And you're lucky if you can get anything delivered within weeks, right? Because people are ordering that many things online. But what fundamentally happened for our clients and the audience, because they couldn't get to doctors and didn't feel safe going to doctors, the patients, they all just went online. So the doctor became irrelevant for 6 months. I'm sure you were like me, right? You know, first phase of all of this, it was like, I ain't gone to the doctors. That's where sick people go, right? Now, it might have been a little over the top, but relative for that situation we were all finding ourselves in. So your typical person is still staying away from the doctor because they figured out that they can just go online and do a quick search for the doctor, for the PT or whatever it is that they want to get. So that's why we saw Google Ads go through the roof. It's why you've got to be on Google and do anything you can to get set up, get on Google, even run a low budget of $500 or $600 a month. You'll get 10 phone calls just from being on Google. It's the gold rush. We're working with 120 plus clients now, running Google Ads for them. These types of things, getting set up on their phones, mobile phone, Google Ads, better than ever. we are a Google certified partner, and we have a direct dial to Google, and they give us access to all sorts of cool features and things to help our clients get them more phone calls and various things. So I can tell you, if you do Google Ads right and you set it up right, it's the gold rush for you right now. And it's not going to be a big budget. The problem with Google Ads is it means the end of what we know as free listings. Get in the free listings. Fine, get in the free listings. But look what's happening, because the people who are paying are now pushing the free people down. So the people at the top there are getting the business, right? Those top four, Canyon PT was, we ran the ads for that company, and we would always get them to number one, and they'd get more phone calls than the guy at number 5. Like, it just makes sense. The opportunity is now there for you to get. I think it's a wonderful time for you to kind of steal that position, particularly if you are a new business and new to advertising. You don't have to wait your turn with Google. They'll put you to number 1 very quickly. You don't have to earn your reputation over 10 years and all of that stuff that, we had to do back in the 80s and 90s, where, you had to wait your turn, and big businesses would have a reputation that you couldn't compete with. Well, Google ended all of that. Google allowed you and I to get to number 1 and be perceived as number 1 very quickly. Website, probably the most fundamental part is having a direct response, what we call website. Answering questions, videos, free reports, all of the things that you'll create as part of your marketing system. And as you see, everything's fundamental. The fundamentals are that create your information packs, create your follow-up system, create all of these things that you need, and then you start giving them away. You start giving them away to patients, and you get known as a provider of information. It was that successful for me. I decided to write a book called The Healthy Habit. We give that to patients. It's a referral tool. They call back, having read it, and so on and so forth. Most websites these days have a less than 1% conversion ratio, when it could be as high as 15 to 20. Again, serious money being lost in not having a good, well-designed, well-thought-out website that considers this. When we talk to Google, this is the thing that they're looking for. It's called search to task completion. What does it mean? It's looking for not just did people land on your website, it means did they engage with your site? Did they take any action? Did they watch a video? Did they scroll a blog post? Did they opt in for free reports? Did they fill out a form? Did they share or like a blog? If they don't, then expect not to be anywhere near the top or even on page 1. Be on the graveyard page, basically, is where most people will find themselves. So that's the first system. The second one is our nurture system. This is the most important one, particularly if you are getting some leads, but you're not converting them. You are a solo practice owner and you don't have time to follow up, and you don't have time for your admin, and you don't really want to hire somebody. Then you've got to get a nurture system, an automated way of educating people and having people book appointments automatically. Educational information to help them make a better, more educated, and more informed decision. You could provide them with 3 things: direct mail, newsletters, email, and phone calls. Again, people think email's dead. Absolutely not. We saw a resurgence. It was never dead, but we saw a resurgence, a come back to life of email through COVID. It's been wonderful how many more people are opening emails these days, because they're all hooked to laptops and communicating with each other in different ways now. So phone calls, email, and direct mail all need to be in your nurture system. So we created these and spent a lot of time for our clients building out nurture funnels, writing 10, 20, 30 emails for businesses, creating newsletters that are able to be sent on the topic of back pain or knee pain, as well as postcards that we send out to past or new leads as well. If you've got no staff or you don't want to hire more staff, you need this system. If you are a solo PT or a fledgling PT and you don't really want to hire anybody, get this system. And if you are very tight, you're running hot, you're 3 or 4 staff, but everyone's busy and nobody has time to follow up with patients, you need to buy or put in place this type of system. You just need to go and get it. And for whatever it costs you a couple of grand to go and get a nurture system built into your business, it'll save you a fortune because you won't need more staff, and it'll make you a fortune because it'll start converting patients that you're currently losing. I know, of the 500 listening to this, 99% of you are losing 10 grand a month on unconverted leads, at minimum. You just are, all right? And any business that doesn't have a follow-up or a nurture system loses money. And it's baffling to me that they don't just spend a week or 2 weeks or whatever, spend a couple of grand on a marketing system, on a nurture system that ultimately gets its money back when one person is converted that currently isn't. And we've done some math today, right? Let's just do this. Let's just be really conservative. I'll take a minute to get a calculator on your phone. Let's just be conservative and I'm going to get my phone and I'm going to go 3. Right? I'm going to be really, really conservative that you're losing 3 people that you haven't called back, didn't book when they said they would, dropped off, made an inquiry on your website, but you couldn't get hold of them on the phone, right? Does everybody understand what I'm talking about, right? Those are the places that you're losing money. That's not normal. Well, it is normal for that to happen. But don't think that they're not going to spend money with you if you had a system in play to follow up. So let's do this, right? Let's take your average patient spend. Let's just call it $1,000. And let's say we're losing 3 every month. So let's do 3,000 multiplied by 12, 36 grand. You're probably losing. You've come on here looking to make money. Well, why don't you just stop losing money? Seems pretty simple to me. Everybody with me? I reckon most businesses conservatively on this website right now, on this webinar, are losing 35 to 50 grand. And I'm being nice. I'm being polite with that. 50 grand, right? Why would we not just spend a week or so, a couple of grand on putting in a marketing system to stop that? We don't even have to go and do any more marketing. We just need to fix that. Is everybody with me on that? Again, I'm not here to bullshit you and sugarcoat it and whatever else. I'm just here to tell you as it is. Like, this is what is referred to as the leaky bucket. People lose money and everybody wants to make more money. Well, the best way to do it and the easiest, as far as I'm seeing it, is put this system in your business and stop losing money. That's it. Right. And then with the money you're losing right now that you think you haven't, this is why it even makes me more laugh. How many on here are going to tell me that they don't have any money for marketing? Paul, this is all great. I don't have any money for marketing. And yet you're losing 2 or 3 patients every month because you don't have a follow-up system. What if we put a follow-up system in play in your business? Put an extra, I don't know, 3 or 4 grand a month into your business and use that for marketing. Makes sense to me. That's how I live my life. If it makes sense, I just do it. So 2 questions to ask. If you are calling a lead or somebody that's dropped off, are you still worried about back pain? And the second question, beautiful question, what other options are you considering? If I know what other options you're considering, I can have a conversation about why mine might be better. That's it. Really simple questions are often all that is getting in the way of somebody saying yes to you. So this creates what we call trust matured prospects. They're ready to buy. They want to say yes to you. And I find that the more education that you give somebody, the better customers they are. If you look at this business, see all these books? Hundreds, thousands of people, right? Hundreds every month, thousands of people every year buy my books, right? And it's why my business continues to grow and grow and grow and grow despite COVID, pandemics, and whatever else, right? Education always trumps anything else that you're doing. And if you want the best customers and clients like I do for my businesses, educate them. This webinar educates people. It helps them. It takes them one step closer to wanting to work with me. After this webinar, there's 10 people on here right now going, I get this now. This is all I needed to see. I want to know how to do this and I want to work with Paul, right? But if I had tried to sell my programs right off the bat, right, I could be in Disney with my kids today, but I have to do this. I need to educate people. I need to help them see what this is all about and how close they are to making an extra 100,000. Some of you were 20 or 30 leads away from 100 grand. Oh my God. Like, is this a joke? Like, that's why I ask people to type in the chat. It's not 250 leads, right? That's like, okay, there's a bit of work to do there. 20 or 30 leads. Are you joking me? Right? With a bit of a script to convert them, the right price, the right positioning, the right message, and a good follow-up system, it's harder to fuck it up, right? If I'm going to be candid, you're gonna have to work harder to screw this up than to fix this. For most of you listening to this, if you get in the game of trust matured, if that's what you want, I'm your guy, right? That's what I do. That's how I build my businesses. You get customers coming to you, ready, want to buy from you. They understand what you're about and they're happy to say yes. Again, it's alien to most folk, but that's only because they don't commit to marketing. Remember, they're in the advertising game where there's no trust built in advertising. It's just, give me your money. I've got a product. I've got a product. Give me your money. Marketing is, I understand you. I get you. I know what your fears are. I know what your doubts are. I know you've been told to rest. I know you've been told at your age. I get all of that. And here's how I can help you. The phrase that I'm obsessive over in my business, when they understand that you understand, That's when they buy from you. And they don't understand that you understand from an advert with a nice, pretty logo of your clinic. Is everybody following me here? I want you to know how close you are. Gee, like, and again, one of my jobs is to give you perspective. I have a peer group of hundreds of business owners I consult with every day. And geez, the best value of being part of a peer group is perspective, is to realize how fucking good you are and how you're this close. Some of you, you're this. If I could shake you, I'd be like, what are you doing? Like, if I could put my hand through this, I'd be like, what are you doing? You're fucking around doing shit that's not going to make you any money. If we just focus for a few weeks on something like this, my God, you're this close to gold. 20 to 30 leads is nothing for what you want. You're this close. If you focus on trust matured clients and build an education-based system, magic will happen. But again, candidly, some of you don't believe it's possible for yourself, and that's the problem. Anyway, cash value. It's one thing to get some leads. Let's make sure we maximize the value of every single customer. Makes sense to me that if you're going to spend money on marketing, we might as well get maximum value for your ad spend. So there's 3 ways to do it. Automate the process of asking for referrals, automate reactivation of past patients, which means don't wait for them to call. And 3, find as many ways as possible to resell to that patient for the remainder of their life. Said differently, add wellness, nutrition, coaching, all that type of stuff to your programs. So the best time to ask for a referral, believe it or not, is, drum roll, 72 hours, not at the end. It's because at this time they're delighted to have made the decision and most likely want someone else to go through it with them, and to share, to share their updates with, if you like, particularly if it's an older crowd. The best way to do this, offer people information. Said it many, many times. Don't ask for referrals. Don't beg for referrals. Give them information packs, right? In my clinic, we create a pack, a gold envelope, stuffed full of information where we go. Don't tell them to call, just give them this, right? Just give them this thing of information. Just figuratively have this information here and give it to your friend. Significantly increases the number of referrals you get. Does this make sense to everybody? I'm going to spell it out because it's vital you get it. The traditional model that you've been told is to ask for referrals. Don't ask for referrals. Most people forget. They haven't got time, particularly if it's an older crowd. They won't risk their reputation. But what they will do is give information. So we created an envelope, a pack, if you like, some kind of thing, not this, but, this type of thing where we go here. Don't ask them to call, give this, right? And inside of this thing is testimonials, is information, is frequently asked questions, is information on the staff and what we do and who we're about and who we help. A book, I give them a free copy of my book. And all of that increases the likelihood that somebody calls of their own free will. And what have I done? By giving them referral packets, I've educated them fast, which stays true to my core concept of marketing the company, of educating fast, looking for really good customers bought into what my business is about. Same in this business, right? People always say, oh, I'll tell my friend about you. I'm like, no, please don't. Tell them to buy a book. Tell them to buy a book. Or better yet, I'll send them one. My referral process for this business is built around free books. Don't tell them about me. Just get them to buy a book or let me send them a book, because I know if you buy a book and you read it, you'll like it, right? Because I've been there. I know what your problem is and how to fix it. And it'll become apparent through the books that I know what I'm talking about. So it gets people closer to me. And I think you can do the same and should do the same when it comes to referrals. Don't turn your patients into salespeople. Get them to give information that you've pre-prepared. Have your admin or your marketing person create information specific to you and your business that increases the likelihood somebody will then call your office a week later. And if you give it to them, they feel obliged to have to give that to their friend. Better than a business card. Business cards get lost. I've got a friend. Oh, give that business card to your friend. Really? How did we ever allow it to get that bad? We also automate the thing. We have a link. You can see that, paulgoughphysio.com/friends. So we send that to patients and it allows them just to opt in and get free information. And they download our free reports. So it all hinges on information and education and value first, right down to referrals. And that's one of the fastest ways. If you're a new business, a solo, year 1, year 2, you want to make this more consistent. Remember, we said inconsistency is the killer. You want to make it more consistent. Well, let's fix that. Let's get referral-based information, the backbone of your clinic. And if you do that, watch your referrals go through the roof. So when somebody opts in for the free information reports, can you guess what happens? They go back through our nurture system. They go through the emails, they get the phone calls, they get the information pack sent out to the house, and off we go. It's a beautiful way of growing a business, particularly if you're a little kind of trigger shy on spending money on Google or Facebook or whatever. If you build this nurture system and you put in the referral process that I'm talking about here, that's backed by information first, educating a customer, you cannot not make more money. Cannot make more money. You cannot not make more money. I'm telling you, you can't. You can argue with me, but it'll be pointless. It just defies belief that if you give people information, they're better likely to work with you. So a couple of thoughts before I get to the profit potential with you. You can have all of the clinical skills in the world, but if no one knows you exist, it's the most frustrating thing on earth. And you can have all the clinical skills in the world, but if they don't pay your cash fees, it's the most frustrating thing. And you can have all of the clinical skills in the world, but if you're constantly being overlooked by doctors who won't refer you, it's the most frustrating thing on earth. And you can have all of the clinical skills in the world, but if you're never certain if the phone will ring this week, it must be a lonely and frightening place to be if you've got bills to pay. Can anybody resonate? We can have all these clinical skills, guys, and I was a decent physio, not the best. I was good, not the best. I could have made a nice living as a clinically, very skilled PT, working for somebody else, but I chose to work for myself, and as a result, I had to face up to the fact I needed to market myself, my business, and find more of the best patients. Don't let that happen to you again in 2022. Being in business is a lonely, frightening place to be. Remember how all of this ties together. The plan tells you how many leads that you need. It is the job of the system to get them for you. Oh, my connection is just lost. There we go. You need the complete system if you want to move away from inconsistent marketing. So the massive question that we're going to do now, how much more profitable could your clinic be with this type of system? I'm going to do it with you. I'm going to show you. This is called your profitability potential. I love this. It's light bulb moments for clients. So pay attention. You've been wonderful. We are an hour and 55 minutes in, and we've probably got about 15 minutes to go. So let's do your profitability potential. Here's a question, and just again, humor me. Do you think that with this type of system, so if I took all of everything I've just shown you, right, put in a traction system, built that nurture system out, put in a cash value maximization system, that you could get one more patient each week? Yes or no? So type into the chat, just a few. Again, I know not everybody likes to play, but there's at least 10 on here. We're serious about what we're doing here, right? So yes, right? Absolutely. Beth, Mindy, Tara, love it. We could get at least one more. Derek says yes as well, right? Do you think that with this system that you could get just one more patient every single week? If so, let me show this to you. And the reason I'm only asking for one patient is because I don't want to be accused of over-promising, overselling. I just want to tell you exactly where you are. If you and I both believe that you could get one more phone call every week as a result of this system, let me show you what this could do to your profitability. So if you attract one new discovery, this one person rings up and says, can I have a free consultation? Yeah, absolutely, right? You convert 80% of them. That means you would get 40 new patients. If the average spend is as low as $750, I'm keeping that conservative as well, so follow along on my math. It's going to be more than $750, but I'm on purpose keeping that low as not to hype this up. We increase it by just 20%, which is not a lot. $900 would then be the average that each patient spends with you. That represents a new revenue for you for just one extra name on your schedule every week, 36 grand. That's from one. That doesn't include all of the people that you're not currently converting, all of the people who are in your system that you haven't been able to reach because there's nobody following up. The reality is you're going to get a hell of a lot more than one. You're probably going to be able to get 5 or 6 every single week, right? As I said, and what I love about this is like you guys are all just such a perfect. It's as if my marketing went out to find people exactly who I wanted? Who knew that that's the way it works, right? If you're needing 20 or 30 leads a month, I can't tell you how close you are. I've got no words to describe what is possible for you, for your business, and how close you are already. If you coming at me going, Paul, I need 250 leads, I'm probably not your guy. I'm not. But I'm absolutely the guy that can figure out how to help you get 20 to 30 leads and bang an extra 10 patients on your schedule to help you add an extra, probably double what the patient spends than they are currently right now. If you don't have that self-belief to do it for you, you would have done it by now. You've got to get alongside somebody like me, be part of a peer group, and we can do it with you, right? We can raise your prices. We can build in a nurture system. We can change your marketing positioning. We can help you implement all of this stuff, right? And the reason I'm showing you that, and the reason I'm downplaying it, is because I think most of you are capable of probably 4 or 5 times that. With a bit of tenacity and a little bit of, yeah, I'll do this. In 2022, most of you confidently are able to make an extra 10 grand a month, which is what you came and looked for. You came and looked for, how do I get patients without referrals from doctors? Just showing you, not one mention of doctors. And how do I get Omicron hesitant? Trust. Trust, trust, trust. That's all this ever has been. People will go to the places that they are trust. So just one new discovery per week will add 36 grand to your revenue. So I guess my question to 10 of you, we're going to invite 10. Do you want some help to create a complete marketing system at your clinic to get that done and more? We can do it together. Myself and my team are offering to work with you to get this done inside 12 weeks. So you know you need to acquire new patients every month to survive, and educational-based marketing works for PTs. I've shown you case studies of guys that did this webinar 3 years ago that are now banging on the door of $1 million practice, and I've got people that have gone well beyond. I try not to give too many good testimonials because it just frightens people off. You want marketing systems. You don't want to be doing feast or famine, boom or bust. The only way to stop inconsistent marketing is to have a system that is largely automated, and you already now know your profitability potential. And I suspect that doing this on your own, you will hit roadblocks and you will have questions. So we created this. It's a program that's been going now for 6 years, and over 850 people have now gone through it around the world. It's started life as a 6-week program. It's now a 12-week program, and is the complete blueprint to attract all the new patients that you need, transform your website and direct marketing, and increase your clinic's profits by 50 to 250% in the next 12 months. Guaranteed and done with you inside 12 weeks. I'm going to show you the complete step-by-step process for achieving your profitability potential in the next 12 months. The full profitability potential, not the half-assed one that we've just created. So who's interested? Let us know if you are interested in doing this with us at this point. What would it be like if we could put that nurture system in play at your business? We could fix that marketing message. We could get an attraction system going. We could implement a cash value maximization system into your business. Now, because of COVID, it's a 12-week program. We've doubled the amount of trainings to ensure that you're armed with everything that you need to win in 2022. It's got 3 main focuses: growing your physical therapy clinic by 50 to 250% without doctors. No talk of doctors, no kissing butts, no luncheons, no dragons on reception, nothing. Creating a complete marketing system in your clinic that'll let you grow much more quickly and reliably. Achieving your full profitability potential is really what this is about. And what we want to do is bring you part of a peer group, right? I just think it's so difficult to run a business on your own. And I can't believe why anybody would want to try and do anything on their own, particularly marketing, right? Because it is a little hocus pocus if you don't know what you're doing. We can bring you into a peer group of people who have done this for years, doing it today, and continue to do it. Business owners just like you, cash, insurance, aspirational, want better for themselves, want to leave the bullshit of politics and see, all that crap, all of that gone. Like, no talk of any of that. This is absolutely for you. If you're not getting enough new patients or inquiries, you've got no marketing system, but you privately know secretly that you need one, and you would be better if you had one. You have no predictable supply. There's no consistency. You've started a practice without any marketing know-how, and you want to grow your practice without needing referrals from doctors. This is absolutely for you. New patients fast, even if no one knows who you are. And this is what I love about this system is they don't have to know who you are. The point is, this is the way to get them to know who you are. Maybe you've got no idea where to start with marketing. A lot of people don't. This is for you. Completely ignored or overlooked by doctors. This is absolutely for you. And if you are an in-network PT and want more cash pay in your life, this is definitely for you. Maybe you're about to leave a safe job on your own. You're going to quit that mill-like job and you're going to come and start your own practice. You want to get off to a good start. Maybe you've just started a cash-based practice or you plan to start one soon. This is definitely 100% for you. And just for full disclosure, we can't take everybody. Really, we're looking for, we've got another session tomorrow. We're looking for about 10 today to keep this fair to the people tomorrow that we're going to do this with. There's a lot of time from my team and me involved in this. You get one-on-one, you get all sorts of stuff given to you across the course. And we literally just walk you through 12 weeks to implement a marketing system into your business. You're going to get access to the complete system that has helped me grow my clinic by 250% inside 12 months, something that cost me hundreds of thousands to figure out, and the exact blueprint that has already helped many of my private clients to have similar results in their business. Those owners now pay thousands of dollars privately to work with me. My day rate, my marketing consultancy day rate is $8,000 for the day. Many clinics, in fact, we had one fly in from Harker Heights, Texas on Thursday to consult with me on their marketing plan to grow. So the fee will be appropriate to that. There's absolutely no risk. You can join today, but you can make your decision in 2 weeks. You get basically 2 weeks to try it. If you don't like it and you think I'm full of crap and I'm not promising or I'm over promising on something, email and ask for your money back, and we'll candidly return it cheerfully and joyfully very, very quickly. And we'll even tell you other people that you might want to go and try to work with if we can't make you happy. So if you're not happy after 2 weeks, just let us know and we'll give you your money back. So module 1, most important critical aspect of your business. We're going to give you stuff. We give you free reports, free templates. We give you the empathy map, the perfect patient profiling map, everything that I use to craft that perfect message. How do we get that message? Remember, you can't do marketing without the right message. So we'll give you all of the templates, the tools and the things. It's not just teaching. You'll physically get things as well. Appointment generating miracle system. Oh my word. What a difference to your life when patients book appointments automatically. Oh, could you imagine if you can just get 1 or 2 patients every week to book that call, book that appointment, rather than constantly chasing and waiting them? How to do that will be revealed on module 2. That is that automated nurture system. We'll give you the scripts. Physical scripts will be given to you. You can download them, you can print them out, you'll read from them, your staff can have them, you can train on them. You can actually start to feel confident with answering the phone, and you'll move away from hello, this is Paul Gough Physio Rooms to hi. Much more in-depth emotional conversations, engaging conversations with individuals, talking about their problems before they've given you money, that ultimately is the reason that they will want to give you money rather than reluctantly and hesitantly give you money. Big difference. I'll give you all the videos that I use for my staff, and I'm going to give you a swipe file of emails, newsletters, pretty much everything that you're going to need to get this speeded up for you. So again, you're going to get material, you're going to get templates given to you that you can use, and you can change my name and put your name on it. We'll talk about how to raise prices comfortably, confidently, ethically. Some of you will have, the old, oh, I don't like this, and I'm going to lose patients. And yeah, you might lose one, but I bet you still make more money as a result of raising your prices and get them to a level where they really, really should be. How to create a cash upsell, we'll talk about that as well. Module 4, which is I think the one, if you push me, if you just nail this in your business, get referrals using information first. Our clients, it will make it easier for people to refer you. You've got inconsistent marketing because you don't have any referral process that's solid and reliable. You've got what everybody else does, the business card. Tell them to give me a call. No, don't call me. Read this first, then call me. That's the bit that creates that trust matured client. And ultimately, that's definitely for you if your budget is low. We'll start off with that for you. You'll start getting the results from referral based information, and then with that extra cash, you'll be able to start spending it on things like Google and so on. So we'll talk to you about referral competitions, what to give patients and even family and friends to make it easy for them to refer you. Nothing to do with business cards or asking them to call. Internet marketing for online profits, Facebook advertising, pay-per-click, Google, all that type of stuff. We'll give you all of the Facebook ad templates that we're using for quizzes, for videos, for blogs, scripts. You'll get everything that you need, and you'll get my exact ads that I'm currently using. You'll get newspapers, direct mail, postcards. Some of you are going to be able to reach patients, 300 or 400 patients who live within a 2-mile radius of your clinic for about $200. I'm going to show you how to do it and give you the postcards to send them. I'll say that again. We'll be able to pick a white hot list of about 300 or 400 people who live within a 2 or 3 mile radius of your clinic, send them a postcard, and it'll cost you less than $200. I'll show you how to do that and give you the templates and the phone scripts for it all on module 6. You'll get the postcards, you'll get the how to create the mailing lists, you'll get the newspaper ads, you'll get templates of things that are working right now for clinics and have done for years. Year 7 of this now. This stuff works, guys, I'm telling you, and it's going to cost you less than the price of a patient you're currently losing. Social media and email marketing, it's very tempting to spend all of your time there. Great if that's what you're going to do. Let's just make sure you do it right. A lot of you found me because of social media. You know, when we asked you earlier on, we'll talk to you about how we do it and why, and you know what the message needs to be and all of that type of thing, so that you get more engagement from your audience. Website is massive. Always doesn't need a wholesale change, but you need to change probably a few things, a few big mistakes that you've got going on. I'll bring my web designer out and we'll do a Q&A, and he'll talk to you about how we built my website, and you can go off and do the same for yours. Community events and workshops, everything that you'll need to make those things work, how to build a roadmap, step by step, what to execute and when. I'll give you my exact, once we put all of this together, we'll create the roadmap now and we'll refresh your brain on what that needs to look like. And I'll give you my 12-month marketing plan for Paul Gough Physio Rooms and ultimately how we do what we do there. We'll bring out the superstars, give you the confidence, and then I'll get into the hot seat on the final session and ultimately tell you my secret to how I get so much done and having so many responsibilities, and how a busy clinic owner should think about time, how to prioritize, and what to tolerate from staff and for how long. This is all about executing, and once you hone this habit with your marketing, it will show up everywhere in your life. This is my absolute favorite session of Accelerator. If you've always struggled with finishing things or getting the right stuff done, then this couple of hour module at the end will be perfect for you. So you've watched the presentation. You want to grow the business, I suspect, by 50 to maybe even 250% in the next 12 months. It's new patient acquisition systems and consistent marketing that you need. And beyond all reasonable doubt, this program's already helped over 800 patients move away from relying upon doctors and finally getting the type of money that they deserve. So just a quick highlight. This is from Kevin, who I told you about earlier. You can see the website that we helped him build. Had our best single day of revenue, $7,000, and best week at 20 grand. Next week, I start only seeing 15 clients per 15 hours per week. Thanks so much for helping me reach my 5-year goal in 2.5 years. These are the types of things that keep coming out of Accelerator. We buy back time for people. We get them more money. We get them some cash coming through the business, and ultimately allow them to achieve what they're really, really capable of. The guys I showed you earlier, that they are the highest ever charging that we know of, $450 per session using Paul style marketing. These guys are amazing. They just went off and did everything we told them to do. Built the website, did the postcards, did the newspaper ads, did the referral stuff, and they're doing absolutely amazing. And for context, they were at $175 before Accelerator. New startup success. We absolutely love Kevin. Kevin started working with us while he had a crappy job at a mill-like clinic over in San Fran. He quit his job after taking Accelerator. Within 3 months, was making more money in a month than he ever was at his mill-like PT clinic crap tip of a job. So he's one of many that are proof that this absolutely is for you if you are brand new or you are thinking of quitting your job anytime soon. This is how you will do it successfully and without getting stuck. We'll move away from relying upon doctors and we'll start getting a bit more consistency in your marketing. You'll definitely get back control. You'll stand out in a very crowded marketplace, and you'll use your marketing to add value to the already great service that you provide. create automated systems more reliably and without wasting money that is out of date and doesn't work anymore. We'll give you a marketing plan that leverages automation for rapid growth of your clinic and help you finally achieve your clinic's true profit potential. And most importantly, we'll speed the whole process to ensure that you hit the ground running and get all of this right first time. So last couple of minutes, if you want it, please enroll. I'm getting lots of messages in my private chat here. If you have a question, you're sitting on the fence, let me answer it for you now. Sandy D, fantastic. Looking forward to working with you and your team this year and making my business hit my first 100K. Easy. Easy peasy, Sandy. Well done. Well done. Love that. What question can I ask or answer for you? If you're on the fence, you've got, there must be a question. Is this right for me? Is usually the question that people ask. What have I got coming in to my private chat here? I'm just getting started. Should I do this? Absolutely. I mean, what makes me laugh when I think about this, and I hear this type of question a lot, is that people will invest in their premises, in their website or logo or insurance for their office, flooring for their office, a new bed, machinery, and they spend all this money, but they don't even consider that actually they need to get some patients in to do it. And if you're already going to be paying all of that, well, you must want this thing and believe it to work. So why not give it the best chance of working? And it's just because you're just getting started. I think that's even better reason to do it personally. I don't understand why anybody would want to wait 12 months to learn how to do something that if you crack it, will solve your problem. It's the equivalent of saying, I've got a headache. Should I take the painkillers tonight or wait for a year? Do you get it? I've got a headache, Paul. Should I take the painkillers tonight or wait for a year and see how it goes? That's kind of how people are thinking. My hubby says hi and gives you a sympathy hug. Not sure why, but he said to say so. Oh, thank you. Thank you. What else? Did I misunderstand that you dropped the price to just over 2,800? Correct, January. 3 payments of 995. 3 payments of 995. Yeah, or 1 payment of 2,850. So we knocked 550 off. 3 payments of 995 plus all of the bonuses if you do it now. Here's another one. I'm a traditional insurance-based business in a small town. Will this work for me? Yes. Yes. If your goal is to get more higher value patients at some point and not be at the mercy of insurance companies and doctors, then you've got to do this. I think some people in insurance-based practices really need to know what's coming down the line here. And I'm not saying make a wholesale change and jump ship and do cash for everything, but I'm saying start to figure your shit out right now for marketing that will attract public and cash paying people, because it's happening, guys. You know what's coming. These reimbursements are getting dropped and slashed every year. And even if you set your stall up to be able to do that and give yourself the confidence to know you could drop United, Anthem, Medicare, whoever, because you've got your marketing in play, I think that's the reason to do it. I'm a solo. Should I do this? Yes. You need the nurture system. If you're a solo practitioner, you need the nurture system, because you're not going to have time to call patients and get them to book in. And that's the whole point of it. Will I need a big budget? No. I mean, I'm not going to lie and say you wouldn't be better off with a big budget, but you don't need it. And I think we pay particular attention to the free modules, the referral process, things like community events, workshops. They're not going to cost you that much money. Social media, email marketing, those things are not going to cost you that much money. But really, if we get your positioning right at the front end, the people who are already looking for you are more likely to hire you and spend money with you. Does that answer your question? Last question. If you're not ready to invest $3,000 to make $100,000 in income, when will you ever be ready? Don't keep putting this off. I know many people, next year I'll do it. If you've got a headache, would you wait a year to take the painkillers? Nope. This will happen fast as well. Having the busiest week ever, classes, Pilates, patients, 4 months after Accelerator, and Melissa, who took it with us, 30 so far with 8 more scheduled. And that all happened within months. Within 4 months, she took it in April. She was at 15, and by August, we had her up to 30. So it'll happen within 3 or 4 months for most of you. And like I said, you're only looking for 20 or 30 leads. You're so close, you don't realize it. Not taking part, keeping the money won't change your life, but taking the program and joining us might just. It might just. And we're talking about 20 to 30 leads here. That's not a big jump. It's very, very doable for you. Right, well done, everybody. If you've got any final questions, type into the chat. I'm happy to answer them. If not, I'm going to shoot. And then, like I said, you can still register, but all of the bonuses go away after the next 2 minutes, and the price goes up as well. So 3, 2, 1. All right, well done, everybody. I really mean that. Fantastic audience as usual. Well done. We've got some amazing people following what we're doing right now with the books and the podcasts and the webinars, and it's just wonderful to be part of this resurgence, if you like, of PT practices all over the world. And I think you're doing amazing. Anybody that's got business owner in their title after what's gone on in the last 2 years, you deserve a medal. Lest everybody forget, which they often do, by the way, it's small business owners like you and me that keep this public going, that keep this whole wheels of industry turning. People don't always understand where tax dollars come from. It has to come from the business owner and corporation tax and everything else that fuels the growth of these countries of ours, and allows these politicians to waste all of this money in the first place. But anyway, another story for another day. You're doing amazing, fantastic. Keep your spirits high. Commit to doing the right thing in business. Start with your marketing. You'll be all right. Well done, and we'll see you soon. Thanks again. Thanks for watching this video. And if you found it helpful, and if you now find yourself thinking, I wonder what else this person can help me with, head over to paulgough.com/books, where you can find my best-selling books, which will show you how to add more profit to your practice. Or send an email to paul@paulgough.com to ask about how we can help you accelerate the growth and profitability of your clinic. And by the way, if you know anybody who would find this helpful, please share this video out. Thanks so much.